Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to be comparing my Glock 17 to my Glock 19. We're going to be going over the differences between the two. Let's start at the ass and let's move our way up. So first things first, you can't see it, my Glock 17 is heavily modified. And if my lovely assistant will go ahead and take my Glock 19. Thank you, darling. On second thought, you know what? I actually might need that to show you guys a comparison. So my 17 is heavily modified to my 19, but this is a Gen 3 and this is a Gen 5. So I'll just go over some of the differences, although some of the visuals might be a lot different as compared to a stock Gen 3. So stock Gen 3, if you look over here at my pinky, it's gonna have finger grooves, which you can still kind of see the differences. You can still kind of see the divots on the grip that were there before I got it stippled. It's gonna have a very different stipple job compared to the Gen 5. The magazine release, while modified on the stock Gen 3, is gonna be a lot smaller, almost flush, which I don't like. It's also going to be the Gen 5 is going to be ambidextrous, while the Gen 3 is not going to be. I do have a custom slide, but on my Gen 5, you can see like these metal serrations on the front of the slide that adds for extra grip. The Gen 3s will typically not have it. If you guys notice, on the Gen 5, there's gonna be only one screw in the center of the gun as compared to 2 screws, and that's because in the Gen 5s, all the internals are put together as one complete unit, while the Gen 3s are they're kind of separated internally. Now we'll go over why you would want a 17 as compared to a 19. So a 17 is a full-sized, I believe it's a 4.5 inch barrel and slide, as well as the grip. And the Glock 19 is a 4 inch as well as barrel and slide, and a shorter grip. Essentially the two differences between the two, outside of all the features I mentioned before, is about a 1/2 inch as comparing to both the grip and the barrel. You can absolutely conceal carry a 17, although that's where the 19 shines because it's a little bit shorter. People with smaller hands, or I've heard even in gun shops, like people of smaller stature, they would prefer the 19. I've never had problems with either of them. They've both been very reliable. I guess it just depends on what you want it for. If you plan to go and train at the range and you want a full-size firearm, I would go with the 17. If you don't really plan to conceal it, I would definitely go with the 17. It feels a lot better in your hand. You get a more solid grip. I have big palms, so I can definitely appreciate the bigger grip. It can help with accuracy, maybe at a farther range, but I feel like ultimately that's up to the shooter, but it is a plus. And the 19, it does fit my grip, although barely. It's very on the edge. And the barrel length does help a lot with concealing, as it's not digging into my balls the whole time. Outside of that, they both have the strengths and they both have their weaknesses, whether size or I guess comfort of grip, but you can't go wrong with either one. If I were to choose one right now, I was a Glock 17 guy for the longest time, but ultimately I think I would go with the 19. My 19 can pretty much do what my 17 can do, while having the extra ability to be slightly more concealable. I can still shoot targets up to 25 yards if I need accurately. That doesn't mean I don't love this one just as much. So I feel like that's all I can tell you guys about these guys for today. So hope you guys have a good day and peace.